Hi, I'm Donna. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here in Shuri Castle. This vlog is about the Ryukyu Kingdom, and unfortunately even Ryukyu Kingdom today has already been annexed by Japan, or I should say it's almost forgotten in the history. I think it's important to know that Okinawa is once upon a time a flourishing kingdom of the Ryukyu people. And unfortunately, there is nothing much I can show you in Shuri Castle at this time because it is under renovation. So I'll just show you a bit of the remaining stone walls, whatever that we are allowed to show here in Shuri Castle. And we will be further exploring different kind of ruin of the Ryukyu Kingdom castle as much as we can. So I can't wait to explore this so-called forgotten kingdom. Okinawa. For me personally, when I think of Okinawa, it is a Japanese island. It belongs to Japan because I was born in the 80s. So basically, I didn't know about Ryukyu Kingdom. I didn't even know about this Ryukyu people. This vlog is about Shuri Castle, but unfortunately, it is closed because if you would remember October 2019, that's 2 weeks before we come to live here in Japan, this castle was burned. If I am going to show you in here, there's a construction going on in there because the main castle is actually a wooded castle. But as you can see, this is the original stone walls of the Shuri Castle. This castle is owned by the Ryukyu people, and this is the center of the Ryukyu Kingdom from 1300 until the Japanese subjugated them in the 1600. So Shuri Castle is in the middle of Naha, and this is perched on top of the hill as well. So you are overlooking the whole of Naha. I'm going to go in that area there to show you the construction of the castle. Now it's already end of September 2021, and I'm not so sure if this also was burned, but looking into this part here, I think this is a newly built roof, and compared to that one over there, I think that must have been the original roof of the rebuilt castle. Behind me are three entrances. Over this side is the activity room. This one is only entrance for the king, the Ryukyan king. And this one here is like a pantry where they store their tobacco, tea, and all the things that they consume in the castle.
That man is wearing a traditional Ryukyan men's clothes.
I just wanted to tell a story about the Ryukyan people because just like me, maybe there's a lot of us who still are not aware. This kingdom was belonged to the Ryukyu people before, and that's where Okinawa belongs to. They ruled the Ryukyu groups of island for hundreds of years until in 1600 when during the time of Tokugawa SHugonate, they come into the island. They become a vassal state to Japan then, but even before that, they are already a vassal state to the Emperor of China during the Ming Dynasty. If you come to Okinawa, I think it is best for you to learn that even before Japanese owned this island, there are actually actual culture, actual people who own this island. And this is what they were left, the history of this castle, even though it is rebuilt many times, because during 1945, during the war, the castle here was actually bombarded by the American forces because they thought there are a lot of people, or they thought there are a lot of locals hiding in the castle, but actually no. There were not much civilian and Japanese forces that was hiding in the castle. American forces came in to capture this castle. They actually bombarded the castle and destroyed it. During their occupation of Okinawa, this is actually all destroyed. But eventually, it was rebuilt again. Just recently, 2019, it was burned. The reason why Okinawan wanted to still keep on rebuilding this castle, even though I think it's costing them a lot, because this is the only reminder of their culture. This time, when you come to Okinawa, it is already been so-called Japanized. Also, I think a lot of us, if we are not aware of the Ryukyan people, you would think that Okinawa just belongs to Japan. Okinawa actually belonged to Japan only for 200 years, but thousands of years, this is a Ryukyu Kingdom. Good morning! This is another day here in Okinawa, and we drove further north from Naha. This is 1 hour from Naha. This is called Ryukyu Mura. Unfortunately, there was no information online or anywhere that closed. So this is of course due to the corona pandemic. And also there was not much people maybe to operate the place. Ryukyu Mura is supposed to be the place where we can see the remnants of the Ryukyu Kingdom, which was of course the original people of Okinawa. This could have been their original type of architecture, which is really different from what Japanese architecture or type of building. This is really so much different in any part of Japan. So it's just so unfortunate that we can't get inside, it's closed. So we'll try to get into other location if we could see another remnants of the Ryukyu Kingdom. When you are here in Okinawa, you will see a lot of lions like this in front of any establishment. This is what they've got from Ming Dynasty in China when they are trading partners during the height of the Ryukyu Kingdom. So these are actually Chinese culture influence to the Ryukyu Kingdom. You can also see this in Singapore. This is Chinese influence. Hi, we are here in the next location, which is just 6 kilometers from Ryukyu Mura. This is called Murasakimura. Again, this place is the remnants of the Ryukyu Kingdom. So you would see all the old stoneworks. This must have been Ryukyu village during the Ryukyu Kingdom. So I don't have any idea what's inside, so we'll just take a look together. This is the way in. What I really like about ruins or the century-old stoneworks, I really like that. And this one here, look at this. So this is the entryway going into the inner part. We'll just go and take a look what's inside.
influences of the houses in the background. All the walls, many walls all surrounding all the houses. And also you can see on top of the walls we've got these ornaments. But what I think is going to
This area is preserved village of the Ryukyu people, but for sure these are all being renovated at some point. To me, I can put into analogy what happened with the Ryukyu people is the same with what happened with the Aztecs in America. So when Spaniards came to basically annex or subjugate them, their culture was ruined or even vanished. Just like Ryukyu people. But these are the evidence that these people flourish during their times between 10th century to 18th century. We cannot go inside the building now because it is closed, and I think this is just, showing you how Ryukyu people lived before. In this age, there are very little information about the Ryukyan culture. The good thing about the preservation of these areas here would remind us or the future generation that Okinawa is actually originally inhabited by Ryukyan people. From 1429 up to 1879, Ryukyu Kingdom flourished here in Ryukyu Group of Islands. In 1879, when Emperor Meiji ascended into power, he subjugated the king of this kingdom, and then he made him just a noble and make all the islands of Ryukyu under the Empire of Japan. For me, the sad part about this is that I would compare Ryukyan people to the Aborigines in Australia, the Indians in America, and the Aztecs in South America. If you would think these are the original people of these lands, yet they were displaced and their culture ceased to exist. I mean, if that's the term. They only left the trace of their architecture or their buildings, their styles. In the case of Ryukyan people, the country who annexed them, or basically the Empire of Japan, who subjugated them, introduced their culture to them. And now, in our modern times, we cannot distinguish which one is the Ryukyan and which one, I personally couldn't distinguish which one is Ryukyan and which one is Japanese. I think it's the same in America. Which one is the Native American or the Indian and the European settlers? To me, it is very important for us to understand that this culture exists, to know where we are now and how we got here. I think this is just like a mini version of the Tiananmen Square. Just mini version. So we're only until here because it is closed. There was no information on what it is in here. So I think it could be a temple, I'm not so sure. But the surrounding here are all shops now. But of course it is closed at the moment. This is actually not a temple, it is also a shop. So the whole area here are converted into a shop, all of that. as we enter here in Murasakimura, we've seen a lot of these ornaments, we called it earlier. But we've learned that these are a mythical character called Shisa. And I am not so sure if this is a Ryukyan mythical character or they adapted it from Chinese. But it says that this one here, normally they go in pair. So the one with the open mouth is the male and the one with the closed mouth is the female. So the male attracts fortune and dispel demons, and the female gives the fortune.
But can I just say something here?
Okay.
This is where history is proven to be wrong.
Why?
Because there's no way that the man has his mouth open and the woman has hers shut. That just does not happen.
Well, this is the hard evidence that women keeps the fortune.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not arguing that point. That is true. But keeping the mouth shut is not.
Well, according to this Shisa, women keep the mouth shut. We are here in Sakimi Castle ruins. This is 3 kilometers from Murasakimura. We're just going to look at ruins of the Ryukyu Castle. So it's towards the end in there, and this is on top of the hill. It is overlooking Okinawa coast right there. Kadena Air Base must be on that side, and this is coast all over. It is already end of September here in Okinawa. The cicada is still alive. If you can hear that, it's very noisy, that's cicadas. In Osaka, where we live, they only last for a month. Yeah, just fun fact. We are in front of the ruins of Sakimi Castle. This is once upon a time the castle of the royal family of Ryukyu Kingdom. So if you can see, I really like castle ruins because, you know, the stones, they are there for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and we still can see them now. I am just wondering, maybe our generation in the future, if we are gone, with the cheap materials that we are using, glasses and steel, maybe the future generation will say we didn't have a nice structure. Look at how thick is the castle wall. This must be the castle receiving area, and this must be the main hall here. Over here, this must be the masters or the king's quarter right here. Look at the stonework, it's beautiful. So this is us on top of Sakimi Castle ruins. Look at this view here. There is a 360-degree view of the town. This is normally the setting of the castle. So you're overlooking your people. So that's the coast there. That's where the Murasakimura is. And over the side, that's where Kadena Air Base is. So the whole area here, the setting of the castle is beautiful. This castle is perched on top of the hill overlooking the whole town. But there was no account in history. I haven't read any account that this was used by the Imperial Japanese forces when they're defending the island. I think it deserves more information for a very strategic location like this. one castle ruin that we've seen from the Ryukyu Kingdom. I really hope that in the future when we come back to Okinawa, we will see the restored Shuri Castle, which was the seat of the Ryukyu Kingdom. But I was happy I've got to see this one because I am really fascinated with the stone walls, castle architectures, and something like that. If you would ask me if it is worth visiting, I think it's yeah. You come to 3 different places here: Murasakimura, Ryukyu Mura, and this castle ruins here. That's one day of itinerary for you to emerge on the Ryukyu Kingdom. Thank you for exploring with me. Again, we have refreshed our memory about the Ryukyu Kingdom, the Ryukyu people, which are the original settlers here in Okinawa. Until next exploration, bye!